25 Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Jebin Singh,
Here.
McGuire,
Here.
McMurtry,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Moran,
Here.
Ortega,
Aye.
and Zhang.
Here. Item number 1, the agenda of May 6, 2025 is presented for approval.
So moved.
Second. Seeing no further discussion, roll call, please.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Zhang.
Aye. Item number 2, the minutes from March 11th, 2025 are presented for approval.
So moved. Second.
Seeing no further discussion, roll call, please.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Zhang.
Aye. Item number 3, the 2025-2029 Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnerships Act Consolidated Plan, and the 2025 Annual Action Plan is presented for approval.
Second.
All right. Would anyone like a presentation or discussion on this item? No? Okay.
Can you just give a brief?
Yes. I'll have Deputy Director Max Holtuson come up here too to just share on this item a little bit, especially since we've had a lot of questions around federal funds too. So this will give us an idea of like the actions that we're taking on today.
Chair, Commissioners, good morning. Today I present to you the 2025 Consolidated Plan, 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan, and the 2025 Annual Action Plan for Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership Act funds, or HOME. This is a 5-year plan that is required by the federal government, and it includes 5 annual action plans. So this in front of you for consideration is both the 5-year plan and then year 1 of that, which is the 2025 Annual Action Plan. It is a planning process that is required by the federal government that includes both assessing the community needs of suburban Ramsey County and considering the housing market, as well as economic development activities within the suburban Ramsey County area. These funds can only be used in suburban Ramsey County. So it's a pretty narrow scope of what these funds can be used for, and out priorities in which these funds can be used through a variety of ways, including a kind of an experimental meeting we had at Cub Foods at Harmar Mall, and where we were able to talk with folks as they were leaving the grocery store, and we learned really about what their priorities are, in addition to kind of more traditional public meetings, surveys, public notices, and public comment periods as well. Resulting from this is a continued emphasis on owner-occupied rehabilitation of housing units, as affordable home ownership remains a top priority for suburban Ramsey County and its cities, as well as public services, which has a 15% cap for public services, including food shelves, tenant hotline, and other housing services, and 20% administrative cap that is salaries and to run the programs as well.
All right. Commissioner McGuire.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to let the viewing public know, the reason that is the only Paul has their own block grant program, so that's why it would be duplicative otherwise, right? So for Ramsey County, our CDBG program is only for the suburbs, because it's not that St. Paul doesn't get them; they get them through a different way.
Commissioner McGuire, Chair, yes, that is correct. St. Paul has its own entitlement and goes through its own consolidated planning process.
Perfect. And the other question I have, Madam Chair, is I'm glad to hear you're doing, is it, I don't want to call it exit interview, at the Cub Foods in Roseville. That's great. So people, you were standing outside the door and asking people how they feel about housing, or how is it? Can you just do a little bit more on that one? And maybe, at a later time, I'd love a sort of a more complete, you can send it to me, or, sort of what exactly were you hearing from people at the Cub Foods in Roseville?
Yeah, CUB staff were present in the afternoon at Cub Foods at Harmar Mall, and had some interactive boards in which people could engage with eligible activities of CDBG, and found important, and also on what their existing community assets are. And so we got to both learn what do they think the current strengths are, as
glad. And good way to go out to where the public is. I commend you for doing that, and so I really would like to hear that.
Mary Jo, we've been doing this.
See it. I want to see the results of it, yeah.
I mean, across the board.
Yeah.
Not just with housing.
But
No, I
that's why I
mean,
said I'm glad
we
you're going
put
out.
pop-ups, bus stations, grocery stores. We've been doing
Great.
that for 5-6 years.
Any other questions, comments? No? Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Max.
Oh, I have to do a roll.
Yep. Roll call, please.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran, Ortega,
Aye.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Zhang.
Aye.